several young men here. A young man asked a certain question that he gives tzedakah. Could be to his parents. First he gives to his parents. His parents need money. And then he sees that his father is using the money to buy pizza and so on and so forth. So what should he really give him? Does his father really need the money that so badly he's going to buy pizza? We have to understand that whenever a person does a mitzvah, there's going to be a yetzer hara that's going to make him want to regret his mitzvah. Yes? That person has to understand that it's not so easy to be a righteous person or to be a good person, to be a person who's actually doing things positive for the world and making the world a better place and bringing Hashem's presence into this world by doing acts of goodness. It doesn't come. If it was so easy, then we would have, everyone would just be doing it. So we have to understand that anytime we try to do something that's positive, there's going to be obstacles before we do the act, and there'll even be obstacles after we do the act. And the Chavos Levavos says that if a person regrets doing a mitzvah, he loses the reward of the mitzvah. Yes, the person says, "Oh my God, if I had known he's going to go buy pizza, I wouldn't even give him the money." So the fact that he chose to buy pizza, that's up to him. That's his cheshbon. You saw that there was someone who needed something. You did the mitzvah of giving tzedakah, and then the yetzer hara makes you see this, makes you see something, and then you should regret doing so. You don't get rewarded for the mitzvah because you regretted it. So a person should not regret when he does something and he sees, if I known I lent this someone some money, if I known he was never going to pay me back, I never would have given him the money. A person should not say that. Whether the Tosfos says that it's a certain schos that a person has if he gets paid back. The vast majority of people who lend money don't get paid back. And if a person does get paid back, it's a special schos, a special merit from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that he has the schos to be able to get paid back. He should consider himself ahead of the game. He should consider himself lucky.
I thought the Torah encourages lending money to your friends.
You should lend it, but the person, right, but what I'm saying is, of course you should lend it, but what I'm saying is that a person should only lend money that he's comfortable with never getting back. Because most likely he will not get the money back. We hope that everyone who, the Gemara says, a person who lends and doesn't pay back is considered a rasha, considered a wicked person. That's a different thing. If a person borrows money and he's not paying back, then in the eyes of the Torah, he's considered a rasha. But the person who's lending the money, so he should keep in his mind, so he shouldn't be disappointed, he shouldn't regret the mitzvah. He should say, I have $1,000, the person wants to borrow $1,000, I can lose $1,000 right now. So I'll lend him the $1,000 with the understanding, maybe I won't get it back. Doesn't mean you shouldn't try to get your money back, but even the Torah has halachas on how you can go about trying to claim money that you lend to other people. But a person, what I'm bringing up is that whenever a person is doing a mitzvah, there's any kind of mitzvah, there's always going to be something in there that's going to make him want to regret, oh, I wish I'd never done it. And when a person does that, then he loses the reward for the mitzvah. There's one thing, you do the mitzvah, but why lose what you did? So what we have to understand is that when we give to people who don't have enough, we have to understand that these people have feelings. And these people have contradictory feelings. And it's a whole big whirlwind of unsettling, unhappy feelings when a person has to take from somebody else. We say, a person who hates gifts is going to live. In Mishlei it says, a person who hates gifts is going to live. If I hate receiving things from other people, then I'm going to live. Why is that? Because the more you have to take from other people, the more you are indebted to these people, and the more you cannot be who you truly are. Because if this person comes in and he's always giving to me, and then he says a dumb joke which I think is not funny and in poor taste, I have to laugh. Because he always gives me money, and maybe he'll give me some more money. And if I don't upset him, maybe he'll give me some more, so I have to laugh. He says a Devar Torah that's not true. It's not good. And you think, oh, it's beautiful, wonderful, because you're hoping you'll get something from him. Yes? That's why rich people always have yes men. All these people that a person's rich and people always follow around him and laugh at his jokes and tell him how wonderful he is, and so because they're going, please, I hope you'll give me something. So when a person has to take So when a person has to take, first he's giving up his free will. He's now indebted to that person. Even he takes from someone, and now that person in the future wants a favor from you, which is something you don't want to do, or it's something that's going to be detrimental to you. You may be forced in a position to do it because I took from him. Now I have to give something back. Yeah. So when a person takes from other people, so you have to understand he's going through these types of emotions. A person's going through the feeling that, who am I? I'm not worth anything. I have to take from other people. Why can't I? Why don't I have the schus and why don't I have the merits? Why aren't I good enough that Hashem should be able to give to me, that I don't have to go and ask from other people? Maybe I'm a big Baal Gaiva. Hashem has to humble me, so I have to humble myself and go and please, can you give? The older man has to go to younger men and ask them for something. Can you help me? It's a humiliating experience. And then when you get the money, so then you feel, okay, a person's happy that he has the money, and the same day he feels bad that he has to take the money, and then it's so many conflicting emotions. And then a person goes through the whole things. What, I have this money now, what can I spend it on? Am I wasting the money? And it's a whole big, we can't judge people, who are in these situations so strictly. We have to understand that it's a bitter lot not to have enough for yourself. It's a bitter lot. You have to go to other people. People have to give to you. It's humiliating. No matter how you look at it, it's humiliating. You become less than who you really are if you have to take from other people. And why does everyone, not that I'm advocating him, but why is people could potentially vote Donald Trump in to become the president of the United States? What's the major thing that people, if you speak to people and say, why do you want to vote for him? He says, because he doesn't have to take anything from anyone. And he'll tell it to you straight. I don't need your money, he says to people. I can finance my own campaign. Your campaign, you need to raise $100 million. I can just take it. I can just write a check for $100 million. I don't need to raise any money. I don't need your money. That the Republican National Convention is going berserk and they're falling on their faces only because he doesn't need them anymore. Every other Republican candidate needs them, except for Donald Trump. And that's why they're doing everything they can to try to stop him from becoming president, because he's the most powerful of them all. Why? He doesn't need anybody. Hillary Meshuggah of Hillary Clinton, so she's vote for Hillary. She takes bribes. I mean, that's the slogan. People are voting. People want her to be president because she'll take money. Yes, there's two opposites. These two people. So we have to be kind to. We have to be kind to people who have to take it. And sometimes people are not so kind when they give to other people. Sometimes they'll embarrass people. Sometimes they'll do it in public. Yes, I've seen people embarrass other people in public when they're giving them money, humiliating them. Yes, what? What can the person do? He needs for his family. More important, he goes to a very wealthy man, and. I don't know, they had a whole big hullabaloo, and the person was totally humiliated. He took the money because he needed the money for his family, but still he was humiliated. We have to be so kind. There was a certain magazine, and the first story I ever read from this magazine from many, many years ago made me that I never wanted to buy this magazine ever again. I still buy the magazine, and I ever said if I ever have free time, like I have nothing to do, like my whole year I have nothing to do for an entire year, so perhaps I would write a letter about the story I read in their magazine 15 years ago. But it tells a story. This woman wrote a story. This woman who wrote a story, she's very aghast at she tried to help somebody, and she was very aghast as to what they did, and so she was so indignant, so she decided to write a story. I hate this guy over here. Makes she decided to write a story about it and publish it in a magazine. Yes, what's the story? The story is she worked, and it must be that this woman never knew a day of poverty in her life. She must have been always well off her whole entire life, that she could not understand the people she was helping at all. She understood them so little that she actually had to write an article about them, condemning them. She had to write a story about them, as if what she didn't do to them wasn't enough. Now she has to write a story and publish it in front of everybody should see it. She worked for an organization that helped from people. If they needed money, whatever they did, they helped people. So a man came and he needed help for his family. And she writes in the article that the man was working day and night. He worked 3 jobs. He wasn't lazy. He didn't sleep late. He worked 3 different jobs. And still, the poverty that she described in the home was, you couldn't imagine it. You couldn't imagine it. And so she went, and her boss went, and they allocated a lot of money for this family. Yes? And they gave him the check and so on and so forth, and everything's okay. And then she went on vacation with her husband. And she got on the airplane with her husband, and who should she see on the airplane was that man who she gave the money to, with his wife also going on vacation. And the woman was so shocked. She was so shocked that she gave them money and now they're going on a vacation with the money. And she went and she said such the meanest thing you could. She writes it in the magazine. She said the most meanest thing she could say to this man's wife before she collapsed in a faint. She couldn't understand how people could do this. And the husband, who originally took the money, said to her, "We are no different than you." That's what the husband said. And she was so aghast she couldn't enjoy the woman who wrote the story couldn't enjoy her vacation at all. And then after vacation, she went right back to work, and she made sure that the family still should get money, but they wrote it up that they're going to prevent the parents from using the money. The money is going to go directly to the children. And that's what she wrote in the story. So she does not understand the pain of being poor. That this man understood that his wife suffered so much. His wife did not have the dresses that other women had. His wife did not have the sheitlach that other women had. His wife never went on vacation. And women are not kind to each other. Women are quite cutting to each other. We don't know. On the other side of the mechitza, my wife tells me the women are not very nice to each other. They put each other down. They needle each other. I have, you don't have. And they make women feel very, very bad. And I'm sure she felt so crushed. And finally, he got some money. And the first thing he did was to take his wife on a vacation because he didn't want her to die. He didn't want her to feel she has no hope on the planet. So this stupid woman who wrote the whole thing and wrote an article so that the woman, I'm sure she mailed it to her, so this woman should be able to, the poor woman should be able to see it and be completely humiliated. So this woman who gave the money in the first place should have absolutely no olam haba, has no understanding whatsoever as to the pains of a woman who is poor. And the woman is hurting so much. And her husband, the first thing he did with the money was he took his wife out on a vacation because he himself feels so hurt that he can't give his wife anything. And he said it to her. He said it to the woman at the airplane while they're standing inside the airplane. We are no different than you. Just like you have an urge and a desire to get away and go on a vacation, my wife too also has the feeling. The only difference is you get to go on a vacation every 3 months. My wife never has been on a vacation. So we don't understand. So this woman who wrote the article, so she thinks, that she's a righteous woman and she's condemning these hateful, terrible people and humiliating them even further by saying, we're going to give you money, but you can't decide what to do with the money. We're going to decide for you. Terrible. And she thinks, she believes, the one who wrote the article believes she's an amazing tzaddikus, but she's not. Because she never felt the pain of being a person that's looked down upon. So we don't know what people are going through. We don't know what people are, even if we give people tzedakah money and they use it for the wrong things, at least that person has the happiness that knows he can make a wrong decision, that we're giving that person that happiness. A person, of course, should understand that his tzedakah is like an investment. His tzedakah is an investment, meaning that the more righteous the people are. In other words, you can give your money to the person who's going to buy drugs with his money. So the Gemara says, the Gemara in Baba Basra says that Yirmiyahu Navi cursed a certain group of people. And what was his curse? That when they give tzedakah, they should give it to the wrong people. Why is that a curse? Because your tzedakah money that you give is like putting your money in the most unbelievable investment of 1 billion times compound interest. You're going to get back in the next world, and you give the money to the wrong people, who are people who don't keep Shabbos, they don't eat kosher food. You say, well, why can't I give to these people? Listen, a person's Italian. There must be 1 billion Italians in the world that they can give to this person. As a black person, there's billions of black people that can give to this person. You are the Jewish people, the smallest people in the world. But there's nobody less people in their nation than we. And of the Jewish people, the Orthodox Jewish people, the from people who have to pay thousands of dollars every single month for one child to go to school, while other kids go to school in public school and they just get it for free. And the from people still pay taxes for the other people to be able to send their kids to free public school. And we have to go and pay for tuition to send our kids to private schools. And kosher food is more expensive. And leading a life in which you have to live in society and live as a Jew is a double life. You have to spend twice as much money. So, like you said, we give the money you give it to the people who are closer to you first. So we give money to people who are going to use the money for mitzvahs. They're going to use the money to help people to learn Torah, for people who want to get better. They want to go to Eretz Yisrael. That a person has to understand that his tzedakah and his investment, and the holier the person is, the more they're going to use their money for. Like I said, if you give it to an organization and 60% or 40% is being, used to pay everybody's salary. Okay, that's one thing, I guess, helping people get a salary or something. You want to be able to say that, that 100% of my money is going to be given to that poor person, and he's going to use 100% of my money, and because I want to get the biggest reward for that money. If people come in, they have drivers who drive people from Eretz Yisrael, from all the homes in which they can collect money from. But the driver takes a cut from that. He takes a big cut. He says, I will take you to where you have to go, but 40% of the money you raise, I get it. So a person here, someone comes to his door and he knows there's a driver out there. He wants to give the man money, but he knows 40% is going to the Russian brust. He's giving to the person who's going to eat crabs, for lunch. Yes? What's the person? I don't know what you do. You can say, please, come to me later when he's not around, or give me an envelope, I can mail you something.
Said, yeah, you do like that. You give them like $5, $10, and you tell them leave an envelope.
Leave an envelope, and I'll send it. The money's going to go directly to you, and not to this person who's going to buy cigarettes. I personally, if someone's collecting tzedakah, and they stink of cigarettes, so I don't like to give so much. I'll still give, but I'm afraid he's going to use my money to buy cigarettes. I'll say, I'll say to them, I keep in mind the tzedakah is, going to be for everything but his cigarettes. Yes, yeah.
Are you allowed to make suggestions? Like, let's say if his Con Ed bill is overdue, or his water bill is overdue, his taxes are overdue. Are you able to make suggestions, be like, here, I'm giving you my some money to pay this and that? Or you can't really make judgments for other people. If he wants to go to a restaurant or buy some soup,
the thing is, a person can decide. The person can make decisions. A person can say, I want my money to go for this and not for that. I've heard people say that. People say that, a person will say, I'm giving this poor person this money, that I want it to be paid, like a person's having a bris. He's a bris, and it costs money for a bris, and he doesn't have enough money. So the person who's going to give him money, he says, I want this money to go just to pay the moil for the bris. I don't want you, to buy pastries with my money. You know what I mean? He can say that. All the money goes in one big pool. Yes? And the people take, everyone pours in there, everyone, wherever money goes. Your $100 bill you gave me has to go to him. All the money goes here. And so I keep in mind, the person says, you don't have to say to the person, just say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm giving this money to this person, I'm giving him that, whatever money he uses to pay for the moil, that's my money. Yes, this person gets 10 people to give him $100, he now has $1,000. So the person who gives $100, saying the $100 that he uses to pay the moil, that's my $100. The person gives to a yeshiva. He says, this money I'm giving, you can even say, this money I'm giving for you to pay the salaries of the teachers, not to pay for the toner for the copy machine. Yes, the yeshiva needs the toner for the copy machine to pay for. But a person should, I don't know if he has to say it to the yeshiva, just keep in mind that I'm giving this money for all the money, once you give more money, there's more money to give out to people. So this rabbi, I want him to get the money. When he gets money, that's my money. This is that tzedakah is a thing of ruchnis, is a spiritual thing. So I can dictate what I want this spiritual thing to take hold of. Like, for example, a person has a carbon. He has an animal, and he wants his animal to be an offering in the Beis HaMikdash. So he has 100 animals there. He can say, this animal is a carbon ola. He decided. You can make decisions on things of ruchnis, of things of kedusha, of holiness, of mitzvahs. I hate to say this. Rabbi Victor Miller, Zechalav Bracha, said that a certain part of his shul, he made a pronouncement. He said, this part of the shul has no kedusha in it. There's no kedusha in this. There's no holiness in this part of the shul. And this is where we'll have our meetings. We have to have board meetings and decide how much paper towels to buy and how much, what kind of lock to put on the door. Well, I'm not going to tell you where. I'll tell you afterwards. I'm on tape now. But how is he able to do that? Because we can apportion kedusha. Hashem gives us that right. Why does Hashem give us that right? Because that's our realm. What I mean is that everything is in the hands of Hashem except for the fear of Hashem. Right? Fear of Hashem is your decision whether I'm going to fear Hashem or not. Everything of this world is Hashem's decision, whether you're rich or not rich, you're tall or not tall, good looking, not good looking, healthy or not healthy. That's which house you're going to be, what's going to be your work, what's going to be your field, what's going to be your house. These are all Hashem's decisions. Only our decisions are things of ruchnias. If I'm going to be a fear Hashem or not, am I going to choose to be an aardvark, or am I choosing to be a big tzaddik? It's my decision. I make decisions. I can decide what things of kedusha, I can make decisions for it. So a person can say when it comes to tzedakah, when he gives tzedakah, he say, I'm giving the tzedakah that when the yeshiva is going to use the money to pay the teachers' salaries, it's my money. I telling Hashem that the kedusha of the money that they get is my money. Yes, I don't want to pay for the toilet paper. Yeah, because why should I do that? Because the reward of giving Jewish people money that they should be able to buy kosher food and be able to pay tuitions for their own children, or to be able to take care of their needs, is a far greater reward. It's a bigger reward. More bang for the buck. We want to get the most amount of reward. If we're going to give tzedakah, and there's a very big reward in giving tzedakah, I want the most. Yes? If I see someone is a big Talmid Chacham, he spends all of his time learning Torah, he spends all of his time teaching Torah, he spends all of his time trying to help other people, and he can't make a parnasa, not because he's not capable, he's just in a line of business that's not so lucrative. Helping other people doesn't pay so much money. Teaching other people doesn't pay so much money, right? And there's another person who needs money just as badly, but he sleeps to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and he has a depression problem, and certainly he needs help, and we should help him. But what is going to give me the biggest investment? What's the biggest return on my money? It's the person who's the big Talmid Chacham. He's spending all of his time helping people. Now I have a share in all the help he's giving to other people because I'm helping the engine to go. Yeah, so a person has to look at his tzedakah as an investment, just like a person's just so canny with an investment, and he'll brag about his investments, yes? And he lives off his investments. So a person should be even twice as canny when it comes to what he's going to invest when it comes to tzedakah. He wants to know that the people, and he has to give it to the people in a way that it's not going to hurt them and humiliate them. Yes, if a person, people are so embarrassed. That's why they say, the Rambam says that the greatest form of tzedakah, there's different levels of tzedakah, yes? In other words, if you get the highest form, you get the most amount of reward. That you don't know who you're giving to, and they don't know who they're getting from. Yes? Someone comes to you and says, I know a family, the family of Tzaddikim, the father works day and night, they have this problem, they can't get their kids into summer camp, the kids are good kids, what's going to do in the summertime? I'm trying to raise money for them. The person doesn't say, who's the person I'm giving to? He would never say that. He'll say, are these, good people who fear Hashem? And he say, yes, I can vouch for them. Fine, I'll give money towards it. And then when he gives money to the people for the camp, they say, thank you very much. He says, it doesn't come from me. It's not my money. It's other people's money. They don't know who it is. They don't know who they are. Nobody's embarrassed. Everyone can shake hands. Everyone can shake hands and be happy and be normal and not be embarrassed. So, in all these things, a person has to, we'll end here, we'll end it here, that a person has to understand that if a person wants to go to Olam Haba, he wants to get Gan Eden, he wants to have reward in this world, and he wants to have reward in the next world. And Hashem doesn't give these things out for free. A person has to work for it. Yes, anything in life, the greater something is, the harder you have to work for it. We see these people who want to be president, Lo Aleinu, it should never happen to anybody. You see how they're working so hard because they feel to get that title of being the president, they'll put in the work. Yes, not that I don't know if it's worth it or not, but the same thing here. If a person wants the ultimate to be able to, when he gets to the next world, Hashem should say, you did a great job, you passed the test, bravo, we applaud you. And now you have Gan Eden for all of your efforts, all the good. Look at all the good you brought into the world. That's going to continue to happen in the world, even though you're not in the world anymore. So be able to accomplish that. So that takes work. It takes education, knowledge. You have to learn Hashem's Torah to know what is the proper way to do everything. Everything I said today, I said now in this little few minutes that we're together, only comes from a person learning the rules. You have to learn the rules.
4 levels the Rambam said?
There are 4 levels, and it's worth it. A person should, it's worth it if a person gives to a person directly, and he knows the person knows him. And it's certainly, the person certainly gets rewarded, but his reward is not as great as if, he doesn't know the person doesn't know him. If the person knows who he's giving to, but that person doesn't know him, the recipient doesn't know him, so hence, you're sparing that person. He shouldn't be, who you're giving to, and maybe you might judge, like you said, you might judge what he spends his money on, and you might regret giving the tzedakah, but at least that person doesn't feel embarrassed. Yes? But the highest level is, the highest level is that if a person, the people don't know each other, and there's an in-between person, and that's where the Gemara says, what it takes learning, you have to learn these things. I'm trying to push that we should learn. There's so many things to learn. But the Gemara says, greater is the person who collects tzedakah than the person who gives the tzedakah. No, the person who collects the tzedakah, he's making sure no one is embarrassed. He's making sure tzedakah happens, yet he's saving people from embarrassment. He's saving other people to judge other people. And plus, it's extremely difficult because you have to judge who should get, if you're a guy by tzedakah and people come to you for money, you have to make a decision. People entrust you with their money to give out for tzedakah. You have to make a decision, is this person worthy enough? Is this the kind of person that everybody wants to give to? Is this, and he has to give out, he has to be fair, and he has to be kind, and so on and so forth. And the person who causes other people to do mitzvahs is on a higher level. If I say that there's somebody there, there's somebody there, and they need some medical whatever, and they need $10,000, and I go and collect $10,000, I caused 100 people to do a mitzvah. 100 people gave me enough money to equal the $10,000. I caused hundreds of people to do mitzvahs. That people should give tzedakah because of my initiative. It's a big reward. The person who gives tzedakah one time, he gets a very unbelievable reward. A person who collects from 100 people, that one person should get $1,000, so this person caused 100 people to do a mitzvah. That's 100 mitzvahs, plus the mitzvah giving over to that person. Yes, it's a very big reward. It's a very big reward. Thank you. Have a good Shabbos.